Hey everyone, it's Orange. Welcome to another Rush Hour commentary. I'm going to explain each of the fights to you guys, as well as what my current issues are in Arena and what I think I need to do to fix them. So, my offense success rate has been steadily declining. Last week in my Guardian 1 Rush Hour commentary, I was not too happy with how my offenses went at all. I think my success rate was like 86% or so. I was not happy with that. I've been in the same Arena bracket, High Conqueror 3, Low Guardian 1 for a while now. My offenses used to be fine and now they're bad. So, this week, the thing that I did to try to have a higher success rate was use Julie. She's a new monster that I built. In that first match there were two nemesis monsters, an Ariel and a Praha. Julie doesn't do enough damage to trigger that nemesis. She didn't. And then my first moving Lushen was enough to wipe everything out. That strategy for that team is not very successful. We will see almost a nearly identical team with different monsters though, but the team is designed the same right after this match right here, and we will see the match go the other way, and I'll explain what happened. So for this fight right here, I've heard that Julie is a good way to deal with Fria as well, so I did a ton of experimenting this rush hour. I lose a couple fights and then fight them again just to see how it would go if I used a different offense to really try to understand what's going on here. So I used my Julie's second skill to hopefully kill the Fria, but the Fria was tanky enough to survive. So I single-carded the Fria with my first Lushen, then I amputationed. Thankfully everything was low, so the Lima used her shield instead of stripping me. And then the Lushen that I had to card with had his buff still up, so then I was able to amputation and clean everything up. So here again we have two potential nemesis monsters, Varad and Lima. Julie softens them up without triggering nemesis, but my first moving Lushen wasn't enough to kill everything. Going into Rush Hour, I ordered this team in a particular way, so the Lushen that moves first is actually my harder hitting Lushen for teams like this, and we can see they're killing me now. It just wasn't enough. Even with my second Lushen moving later on, he wasn't enough to kill them. So I'm going back here and fighting it again to see how it would go if I just use my double Lushens. At this point in time, my first moving Lushen does so much damage, I can almost guarantee that any nemesis monster will cut in between my two Lushens, which is what happens here, so I was predicting that, but I just wanted to see what would happen. So I actually end up pulling out this win. I don't know how. I think I just got really lucky. But as you can see, I'm picking fights that are risky. They could go either way, and I don't think that that's a good thing for me to do. I actually went back and watched my Conqueror 3 Rush Hour video. It's called Conqueror 3 G1s Within Reach or whatever, double rina AD question mark. I will link that one below if you guys want to check it out. I'm going to be referencing two Rush Hour videos in this one, the Conqueror 3 one and the Guardian 1 one. So I watched that Conqueror 3 video, and I played super safe. I basically hunted for defenses that were Lushen food, and I took no risks. Nemesis monsters are always kind of a risk, depending on what's with it. We'll see some fights in here where the Nemesis monsters are just with non-threats, so it's okay to hit them. Right here, my Julie triggered that Emma's Nemesis, which was really tilting me, because in the fight before this one, Julie plus my harder hitting Lushen wasn't enough to kill everything. So in that fight, having Julie do more damage would have helped, but then in this fight, having her do less would have helped. So I'm like, Julie, you're all over the board. What's going on? There's so many new issues arising and I'm just so confused. It's crazy. So I do think that my Julie is actually doing more damage than she should. There was a Rush Hour video that was recorded, I guess, recently that I want to give a shout out to. Chuffles he went for another legend ranking, I think, so he has a Rush Hour video of that. It's super amazing. Learn from the pros, don't learn from me. I would check that out if I were you guys. I looked at his Julie and his Lushen's damage, and they were doing very little damage, so I might actually try nerfing my first moving Lushen, the weaker one, a little bit more back to how he was in my Conqueror 3 Rush Hour video. So for this defense, this one was really confusing. I think I just got unlucky here. Basically, I'm going to bring my 2 Lushens here, even though the first one does a lot of damage, because there was a Praha there. Because of the Molly, I'm hoping that the Molly's passive will be enough to nerf my damage enough to not proc that Praha's nemesis. So that indeed did happen. Praha did not get nemesis procced. I killed her, and then I think I just got unlucky from that point on to the point where I wasn't able to kill everything, which was really confusing because my Lushens do so much damage right now. I don't know how that happened. So I'm fighting it again just for more testing. I'm going to use my Megan, or not my Megan, I will use Megan, but Julie. So Julie did not proc Nemesis there, but the Praha cut in between, which is an issue I'm having if I use this team right here. I think this team is very good against very specific team compositions, like this one right here. Against this team, it has about 100% success rate, but versus that other one, it doesn't have a very good success rate. So for this team right here, I believe everything on that team should be extremely slow. Nothing will cut in between. I think the water pan is just going to be on triple HP really slow. So my team is perfectly safe to get off all of my damage and just kill them. So this team is very good against teams like that. I think during this rush hour, the thing that I was doing wrong was taking risky fights. I've talked about this in some of my Guild Wars videos, because in Guild Wars it's very easy to see because the fights can go pretty quickly just like Arena, but there's less monsters to deal with, so I think it's a little bit easier for me to see. Right here in this fight, my Julie's going to take out that fria, and then I will just clean everything up after that with my double amputations. The fria was only level 30, I think, which of course my Julie's going to kill her and I won't have any issues with. Okay, so let's talk about the Guild War example that I was talking about. So in Guild Wars, sometimes I use teams and I know it's a risk to fight. I know that I probably only have about a 50% chance to win, just because of how the turn order will go. Sometimes it's very easy to think through what the monsters will do in your head, but for Arena, it's like a little bit harder for me, but I think I'm kind of getting a grasp of it, sort of. So I think I'm taking risky fights here, and I shouldn't. I took a look at my Conqueror 3 Rush Hour video. I think I watched it 2 or 3 times. I wrote down notes, and I took a lot of really safe fights. In this one, I'm taking a ton of risky fights, and I think I need to cut that out. I think that's going to be the solution for me, and I think that's overall the proper thing to do. So I don't think it's like, in my situation, I should take safe fights because of this reason. I think anyone at pretty much any arena ranking, well, I guess if you're just pushing ranking, sort of, should be taking safe fights. So that's the assumption that I have now, and that's what I'm going to do next week. For this fight right here, there is a nemesis healer, but everything on the other team, there's basically no threats. So I'm totally safe here to get interrupted by Nemesis. It's fine if he does that. It's just going to take me a little while to clear this defense. I have been trying to be more aware of the length of time it'll take me to kill some defenses, but I don't think that that's super necessary because I was having a lot of success in my Conqueror 3 Rush Hour video, and I wasn't really paying attention to how long it would take me to kill things. I might have. I do think it's important, especially when you're kind of getting close to time, because I feel like there are a lot of defenses out there that are extremely safe for double Lushens to kill. In that video, I fought a ton that basically had no way of coming back to kill me or anything like that, or cause me to lose. So I'm doing another refill here. Overall, I did 4 refills, I think. I believe, yeah, that's the last refill I'm going to do. I did 2 during rush. I only rushed for the last 35 minutes, and I did 2 earlier in the day. So here, this defense basically has never given my Lushens any issues. We have no nemesis healers. Nothing's going to cut in. It's very safe as long as I can kill both of these fire monsters, which could maybe be an issue. I think in my Conqueror 3 Rush Hour video, towards the end, I started playing it really safe against fire monsters and not hitting them. Again, here, Chloe and Rakan might be able to stall me out, but we have no nemesis monsters unless Orion's on a tricky build, which usually they aren't. So I'm going to double amputation everything and then just clean up from here on out. Earlier on, I think there was a fight where there was an Ariel and a Rakan, and maybe it's coming up actually. And the Ariel procs in between and just heals up the Rakan way too much for me to be able to take care of him. But in that fight, the Rakan was already low, so I had a very high chance of winning. So here, since I don't have that speed tuning on my team, it is risky. The Juno cut in right there before my last Lushen. Thankfully, my first Lushen got to move. He is the harder hitting one, so I get a ton of damage off, and then I'm just going to clean up here. So this one, I need to note in my mind that it is a risk because I don't have that speed tuning. I did make my Megan as fast as I could to keep her on a will set because of Leo's. I also have my Julie on a will set because of Leo's. We will see that right here. The Leo's going to move first, but I'm on will, so he won't push me back. And again, a really safe team for double Lushen. They're not going to get healed at all. Oh, actually he did because of the Chloe. But I'm usually really confident against teams like this because once I start critting Rakans, they go down pretty quickly. But there is still some risk though, so I will have to keep watching this, and in the future, I might avoid some teams like this if it's getting close to time or if I don't want to take that risk. I think there is a risk, but I think it's very small, especially because there's a Leo and an Orion. I don't think this defense was really that well designed. I don't know. I haven't really seen many people use Orions by themselves. I don't know if that's like a good thing to do or not. So for this one, let's see, what am I going to do here? Okay, so again, this is a risk because my Julie and my Lushen may not be enough to take out this Ariel, which I think is actually going to happen. This is the exact fight I was talking about. So basically the Rakan at this point has the heal buff on him, and he basically got healed to full. I was able to strip that off, so I think I have a good chance of winning now, but I'm dead. They come back and kill me, so that was a risk. I think I knew that going into it, and at this point in Rush, I'm taking things more seriously. I'm like, I can't do any more experimenting. I wanted to fight this one again, just to see if I got unlucky with crits or something. Actually, no, this one was way too bad to fight, because the Ariel would have cut in no matter what and healed everything, so yeah, I probably should have avoided that no matter what. Again, I think I'm just taking way too many risks that I don't need to take. I think I need to be hunting more for Lushen food. This defense is Lushen food. Again, I'm going to take my team that just does a ton of damage because nothing will cut in between. So I'm totally safe to get everything off. There's no nemesis. None of these monsters are going to be built fast. Earlier, we saw there were some Junos, some Sekhmets that could be built fast, but for this team, there's not. So it's a very safe clear. I do want to keep using my Julie because I think she's good against things like this. I think it's just totally my fault. And I think I've told you guys this before. People have been getting Guardian 3 only using double Lushens. They don't need to use anything else. They don't need to have any more defenses. So, of course, if I'm at Guardian 1 having issues, it's just my fault. It's not that there's not enough defenses for me. There are, because people are getting Guardian 3 with just double Lushens. Again, the Draco could have been kind of fast, so I did take a risk there, but I was able to move first and wipe everything out. Okay, here, I think I would have just double Lushen that team. I think I can just use my double Lushens, so maybe using double Lushens against that one would have been better. This team right here, I actually really liked, so I need to get rid of Fria, but she was like a tank Fria, kind of. I believe that one actually was pretty tanky, purposely built with HP. We have the Veramos leader, which gives Fria more HP, as well as the shield set. I think she had a shield set. So maybe I messed up there, actually. I did mess up actually quite a bit in this rush hour. I think right here I actually mess up, where I'm using skills that basically take more time. I know that my Julie's not going to be able to do any damage to these Rinas at all when they have their shield up with my Julie's third skill, yet I still use it. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm just being so dumb. So it takes me a while to kill that Fria there, and then even longer to kill these Rinas. This defense right here, I think its whole purpose is just to make you take like a minute and 30 seconds or so, even longer. It took me about 2 minutes, 10 seconds shy of 2 minutes to clear it. So I wasn't able to kill that one before arena closed. I liked it because it just takes you a while, but you will be able to win. So you might have to kind of think about that. So I already kind of talked about this. Overall, I think I need to take safer fights, and I'm fighting things that are too risky. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually nerf my first Lushen's damage, because he was doing very well in the Conqueror 3 video. I went back and took notes on it actually. So for nemesis monsters in the Conqueror 3 video, I fought 10 nemesis monsters, 2 interrupted me, 4 did not, with my older Lushen who did less damage. He was doing 8.3k per card at that point in time, and right now I think he's doing 8.9k per card. And there were 4 monsters who should have been on Nemesis that just weren't, which totally blows my mind how people are up in High Conqueror 3 with monsters like Ariel that just purely aren't on Nemesis. I do think I can be fine with leaving their damage how it was, because in this video we saw a lot of fights where it is completely safe to bring 2 Lushens that do a ton of damage because the other team doesn't have any Nemesis monsters and more damage would help me. It's currently Wednesday and I haven't decided if I'm going to change up my first moving Lushen to make him weaker, or if I'm just going to try to find more fights out there and hunt a little bit more before I pick a fight. My defense at the moment, my double fire mummies did very well. In the last 35 minutes, which is all that I rushed, they only got hit 5 times. They lost all of them, but I think that's actually pretty good. I think only getting hit 5 times is about the best I could ask for. Maybe I could have asked for a win in there or something. I don't know though, so I think I pretty much talked about everything. Again, let me know if you guys have any thoughts on this. We will see how I do next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys later.